I think it is absolutely unbelievable. It is unbelievable how many stories we get out of Ohio. This is yet another one. And I'm going to tell you, that smirk, that smile, you're going to find out why this person smiled. It's probably going to piss you off, but I'm going to warn you, the details are probably going to disturb you to the core about what this person did to an innocent baby who didn't do anything to anybody, ruined a family, traumatized a mother and a father. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. But before we get into the details, let me give you a disclaimer, especially if this is your first time here. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. So today's news source is the nypost.com. I thought this was the most comprehensive article, kept it really short, but I gotta show y'all the video. There's gonna be a little bit of video footage. I'm gonna make it big on the screen so y'all can see it. If you want to see kind of what led up to this, I'll show you. I'm not gonna actually show the actual incident that happened outside the store in the parking lot, but I will show you what led up to it if y'all wanna see that. A suspected deranged killer charged with stabbing a 3-year-old little boy to death outside an Ohio supermarket had just been cut loose by a judge 3 days prior to this incident. Y'all catch that? This woman clearly has a ton of issues, was apprehended and was cut loose by a judge 3 days before this frenzied attack, despite being referred for a mental health evaluation. As you guys can see that picture right there, she has the knife in her hand and is walking up to the mother and is going to walk behind her and follow her out the store. And I'm going to tell you something. Do we have any, I don't know if we have any white people who are in the chat, any of my good white people out there in the chat. If y'all are white folks out there and your good loving AFC family, I need y'all to let me know that you are in the building, okay? Because I got some things that I want to tell y'all for your own safety, okay? I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, but bear with me. This fool, this weird looking individual, let me see if I can get her weird looking self back up on the screen. God help us all. If we are walking around and you see somebody looking like this and they say that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, I want y'all to look at this. Look, I'm going to blow this up on the screen because the more I look at this picture, the more it pisses me off because not only I know what she did, but it's okay to judge a book by its cover some damn time. You know what that's called? Discernment. I want y'all to look up the word discernment. Just Jay has some $5 words from time to time, okay? There go my good white people in the chat. I see y'all. I love my white people. I really do. And I'm going to tell y'all something that I believe is going to help you, okay? So bear with me. I want y'all to look at this damn effing idiot on my screen and tell me that she needs to be around children. She needs to be around society. I bet you it was somebody probably plugging this big, nasty, stinking ass broad. Right? Look. I want y'all to look at how ridiculous this individual looks. So for those who come to my channel talk about, well, why don't you just talk about the story? Why you always got to talk about somebody's looks? Why? Because they out here killing innocent little children. So yes, I'm going to talk about what these fools look like. I want y'all to take a look at this. God. Boom, boom, boom. Green giant. Ma'am, why do you look like you are hiding 2 volleyballs in your chest that are hanging to your knees, to the bottom of your stomach? Why do you look like that? Ah, gross. I don't know what to say. It's like, you look at this person, and I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't think this woman suffers from no damn mental illness. Why everybody want to make an excuse? That's gross. That's just fucking nasty. I'm sorry. I said I wasn't gonna cuss, but I can't help it, right? It's just you just got to get rid of those things. Like that should just require emergency surgery. Just get rid of them. Just toss them away, right? I don't think that this person suffers mental illness. Y'all want to know what I think it is? I think it's loneliness and rejection. I want y'all to mark my words on this. Loneliness and rejection. Because we have to understand that there can be somebody for everybody, but then you understand if some people are overlooked just because they weren't blessed with the best looks. Like, I'm not the most attractive person. Like, there are people that look at me like, not for me, right? It happens. And we have to start having an honest conversation about looks. It's okay to have a preference. And here, what I'm here to tell you guys is that the majority of people on planet Earth is going to pass this person up. Why? Because she just looks like she don't bathe. She looks like she don't have good hygiene. She just looks like she probably couldn't read in first grade, first, second, or third grade. She looked like she ate crayons in class. It looked like they sent her to school with a helmet. It looks like her bus was half the size of a normal bus that used to come pick her up, right? It looks like something's wrong with her. And what I'm here to tell you guys is don't ignore what you see, white people, okay? It's okay to look at something and understand that this is either out of place, something looks wrong, or maybe I need to clutch my pearls or clutch my purse or clutch my children, right? That's okay. What's wrong with taking precautionary measures and people want to poke fun at you because you want to have some damn self-preservation? Hello. What I'm here to tell y'all is I believe she did this because she's just an evil bitch and she was hating on this beautiful family that had a beautiful little boy, and this baby boy had a bright future ahead of him. And she wanted to just take it out and ruin somebody else's life, somebody else's lineage, okay? This individual's name is Bianca Ellis, 32 years old, so y'all can look her up, Bionca. That's how she spells her name. That doesn't even make sense. But nonetheless, she was arrested after allegedly butchering the toddler by the name of Julian Wood, this baby right here. And I want y'all to understand, before you get to talking about, Jay, why do you talk about people's looks? Because I think that people who hurt babies are the worst. And I think that they deserve the worst sentences. I think they deserve to be treated like dogs. I think that they are less than human. I don't think that people who hurt, murder, or abuse children are human. They don't count. How about we just, that needs to be a new hashtag. I think we just made up a new one. I'm going to type that in up here. I'm going to type that in my little system. People who hurt, murder, or abuse children don't count. We need to hold on to that. So I want y'all to remember that's another one of my hashtags right there, or another quote that I like to use, because I want y'all to remember that. She used a kitchen knife at Giant Eagle grocery store in North Olmsted on June 3rd in what police described as a random act of violence. But it since emerged that Ellis had another run-in with the police just days earlier after she was taken into custody on May 29th for a probation violation tied to a petty theft arrest. And those records were obtained by Fox 8. During her arraignment for the probation violation, a Rocky River municipal court magistrate ordered Ellis, who had been accused of stealing $69 worth of merch from Walmart, to undergo a psych check after it became unclear if she was paying attention or falling asleep during proceedings. So they already knew that something was awry, or something was wrong. Ellis then ended up back in the streets on May 31st after a different magistrate by the name of Judge Brian Hagan ordered that she be released from custody. And I would love to hear him explain his reasoning for that, Judge Brian Hagan. So maybe he'll issue a statement, maybe he won't, but I would like to at least hear it. The judge added that mental health team that carries out evaluations for court didn't have anyone available, which meant Ellis, who has no known violent criminal history, would have been kept locked up for days on a minor case. And look, it led to a baby's death. So I think they got this wrong. She is now being held on a $5 million bond in the wake of last week's bloody violence outside of the grocery store. Ellis allegedly, no, not allegedly, because they got it on video, but you got to say allegedly, stabbed the child to death while he sat in a shopping cart and also wounded his 38-year-old mother by the name of Margaret, I think it's Margaret Wood or Margot Wood, after following them into the parking lot. And that's the part I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you following her out the store. I'm going to show her following her out the store. The mother was about to load her groceries into the car when Ellis allegedly charged at them with a knife, stabbing the boy twice in an attack that lasted less than 5 seconds. His mom was knifed in the shoulder after trying to pull Julian from the cart during the stabbing frenzy. The little boy was pronounced dead at the hospital. Ellis, this fool who's laughing in court, who was charged with murder and attempted murder, later smirked her way through the arraignment as the counsel read out against her. She giggled and replied, C-S-I, or I think that's Spanish, when the judge asked if she was going to plead not guilty. Despite the bloodshed, Judge Hagan said he wouldn't do anything differently in releasing Ellis on the initial arrest warrant. I think him even saying that is stupid. You could have just kept your mouth shut. I wouldn't do anything different. So if it were me, the common sense answer is because I guess you don't want to seem like that you're admitting that you did something wrong, but your actions led to this. There was a cause and an effect that led to this. So how can you sit there and say as a judge, I would do nothing different knowing that it's going to end in a baby's death? And you're looking in hindsight? Why would you say that? I don't know. I'm confident in the way that the court handled this matter, Hagan said. We did it by the letter of the law. There was nothing there to send up the alarms. Clearly it was. But let me give you guys the fair usage, and then I'm going to tell you guys what I got to say about this. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. If you guys want to help share our message, you can hit that thumbs up, or you can copy the link and paste it in your truth crime groups, your favorite groups that you have. Share this message because I want people to start preserving our children, okay? But let me show you guys these news videos, and then we're going to talk about it.
This one is dreadful. An Ohio woman facing murder charges after police say that she fatally stabbed a 3-year-old boy outside of a local grocery store. On Monday, 32-year-old Bianca Ellis, look at this, she was seen smirking at the cameras at her arraignment. Her bail was set at $5 million. And according to police, she not only stabbed the child, but also stabbed the child's mother as they were leaving the grocery store. The victim, 3-year-old Bianca Ellis, look at this, she was seen smirking at the cameras at her arraignment. Her bail was set at $5 million.
I want y'all to look at this person's face, and for people who like to email me and defend people like this, I'm just curious, how do you defend this? Look at her behavior. Oh, she's crazy. I think people like that shouldn't be in our society. They don't deserve to be in our society, and people like this do not count.
According to police, She not only stabbed the child, but also stabbed the child's mother as they were leaving the grocery store. The victim, 3-year-old Julian Wood, this precious little angel who died in what authorities are saying was a random attack, totally random, outside of the Giant Eagle grocery store on June 3rd near Cleveland, Ohio. Mom is still recovering from her injuries, and before Ellis's bail was set, little Julian's dad gave this very emotional statement in court.
That day, 1 week ago, she took everything from us. There's nothing that could ever replace my son or anything that my wife and I, or even our other kids, are going through. It's horrendous.
There are questions this morning. What's the most shocking part about this? The horrific allegations that this woman stabbed a 3-year-old and his mother who was trying to save him? Or that she thought it was funny when she was arraigned and she was laughing in the courtroom. Let's bring back in our power page.
Let's skip that one. This one's a little bit longer. I'm not going to show this one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show some of this. I want y'all to see this.
Okay.
This one's kind of long. I'm going to skip through some of this.
She's in the first 3 rows farthest north. Copy, I will be up.
You got a med kit? Okay. You over on the side? You're good. Who's got a med kit with you?
You're gonna get her up. We have a female in custody.
Are you bleeding? Are you hurt anywhere?
An absolute senseless tragedy strikes a family in Ohio when a woman allegedly went on a rampage, stabbing a mother and her 3-year-old son in what police say was a random attack. The horrific attack happened on June 3rd in North Olmsted, Ohio. According to a GoFundMe, Margot Wood and her 3-year-old son Julian were walking out of the North Olmsted Giant Eagle when they were followed to their car by a random woman. Police say 32-year-old Bianca Ellis allegedly stabbed the two outside of the grocery store in what appeared to be a random act of violence.
Let's skip that. Let's go to this next one.
We are getting a first look at surveillance camera video from the deadly attack at a local Giant Eagle.
Our Lena Lai joins us now with what we found. And Lena, this gives us a better idea of what happened that afternoon.
Yeah, because there are so many questions. Well, right now, a memorial is growing outside of Giant Eagle where 3-year-old Julian Wood was killed and his mom was injured. Police say Bianca Ellis stabbed both of them in a random act of violence. Today, North Olmsted Police.
And if you guys are listening right now, if y'all do me a favor and please hit that thumbs up, it'll bring more people here so more people can know that we're live. If y'all would, do me a favor, please hit that thumbs up and I will keep playing the video. Here we go.
Police releasing new video showing the moments leading up to the horrific attack. Now, we are not showing the actual attack, but we still want you to know that we should warn you that parts of the video may be upsetting to watch.
New video shedding light on the 30 minutes before a deadly stabbing in North Olmsted Monday. The video showing Bianca Ellis walking into the police station there around 2:30 that afternoon. She's pushing her own wheelchair with a suitcase. Detective Sergeant Matt Beck.
Let me make this bigger so you guys can see this a little bit better.
Confirms she was there in connection with a previous nonviolent case. Ellis then makes her way to the Volunteers of America thrift store, where police say she stole 2 knives, then briefly stops into Bins and Things before walking into Giant Eagle. At 2:58, she walks past the service desk with the knife waving by her side, and no one appears to see it. Then we see her walking near the cash registers. Again, no one appears to see or react to the knife. She then passes Margot Wood and her 3-year-old son, Julian. Ellis immediately turns around and starts to follow them. Cameras show just before 3 p.m., Ellis walked into the lobby and follows behind the mother and son as they exit the store. Cameras then show her following them through the parking lot and to their car.
And that's the part that I want to talk about. So I think I still have my white people here. White people, I need y'all to chime in and let me know that y'all are listening. Because I want to say this. Let me back this video up. Let me back it up. I want y'all to notice how everybody in this store, they said nobody seemed to notice. And I'm going to tell you something that I know about white people. They are very, very aware of what they see. How many of you guys think that nobody saw her with this knife? Huh? Because only white people can speak on this. Okay? So I want y'all to tell me, how many of these people, from her walking all up and through this store with a knife in the open, like this, and nobody noticed anything? Y'all tell me, would y'all have not noticed anything? That big, huge knife on the screen. Let me see if I can.
Wood.
Right there. Look at that. That's not a small knife. That's not a Swiss Army knife. That's like a freaking, like a fillet knife, like a butcher knife. Like, it's pretty big. Let me tell you something that I believe this victimhood mentality, not victimhood mentality. That's not the word that's not the term I'm trying to look for. This mentality that too many of people in our society try to put on white people, make white people feel guilty for judging black people. Huh? It's too many people in our society to try to guilt trip white people into acting like they don't see the buffoonery that they see black people do. How they dress, how they act, how they talk, how they fight, how aggressive they are, how flat out dumb that they behave. And y'all are being taught to just ignore it and act like you don't see nothing because you don't want nobody to say, oh, I was not racist, y'all. It's not me. I'm not a Karen. I'm not a Karen, right? Nobody in here wants to be a Karen. You know what everybody said? Those people standing over there by the ATM that look like they might work there are literally just like, girl, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. I don't want them to call me a Karen and have me all over the internet recording me and making me feel guilty. I don't want to say nothing. And then I'm going to show y'all, let me fast forward a little bit more. That was a man. All these people, lady at the register, she sees it.
And her 3-year-old
right there on the left, bottom left, by me.
Son Julian. Ellis immediately
Look
turns
at this
around
man as she walks by right there. So you mean to tell me he didn't see her, didn't see that knife, but when he sees her, he stops, and I want y'all to notice how he raises his foot up because he was going to step around her. He was trying to avoid contact with her. And she did a U-turn while that lady is trying to act like she doesn't see her. Just trying to mind her business. Y'all been taught to just mind y'all business, right, white people? Just act like you don't see something wrong. Act like you don't see that there's a missing puzzle piece. Act like you're not missing a taco to your combination plate. Act like you don't have some crayons missing in your crayon box. That's what y'all are being taught. She saw this woman, clear as day, walking towards her with a freaking knife. Look at this. Look at how many people she walks by. Let's count them up.
Desk with the knife waving by her side.
2,
and
3,
no one
4
appears to see
5. And nobody saw her with these huge titties that look like melons hanging out of a freaking laundry basket. Like one of those netted laundry baskets. Just threw them in her chest and just hanging and bouncing all around. And nobody saw her walking with this big ass knife in her hand? Nobody saw that, right? Okay, let's keep going.
Then we see her walking near the cash registers. Again, no one appears to see or react to the knife. She then passes.
Boom. One right there to her left, cashier. Oh, eyes didn't see nothing, y'all.
Margot Wood and her 3-year-old son, Julian.
Number 2, people by the ATM. Don't act like, just ignore her. Don't say nothing. Don't look at her. That's 3 more.
Ellis immediately.
The mother moved her cart from in front of her. How did she not see it? When she had to swerve her cart. I want y'all to notice that. Let's back it up a little bit. She swerved her cart. Watch this.
3-year-old son, Julian.
Going straight.
Ellis immediately.
Moved the cart. She went left. See that?
Turns around.
She moved her cart all the way left.
And
Then the man in front of her, he sees it. There's another one. Then you got another employee over there by the gift cards that's looking in that direction, acting like she don't see nothing. Meanwhile, the woman who made a left with her cart to get out of this woman's way, who's saying that she didn't see nothing, didn't see this woman do a U-turn
them. Cameras show just
and walk right behind her. That's called being naive.
Before 3 p.m., Ellis walked into the lobby.
Look at the man walking behind her.
Was behind the mother and son as they exit the store. Cameras then show her following them through the parking lot and to their car.
North Olmsted police say Ellis's family says she had an apartment in Cleveland, but...
So thank you. They chose not to see something. And I'm not saying that you should have did anything, but what I am saying is at least if you would have kept your eyes peeled, I'm sorry, but I'm always looking to see if somebody's following me, walking up on me. Like black people, we had this thing where we say, hey man, don't be walking up on me like that. You might have got punched. You might have got hit. Don't walk up on me like that. Hey, player, you walking up too close up on me. Especially if you got your kids, it's like your antennas need to be up. As a parent, it's not just you walking around. So I understand for you adults out there, my good, beautiful white people out there. And yes, I think this should be charged as a hate crime. This should be 100% a slam dunk hate crime case. If it's just you walking around, you have every right to ignore whatever you want. And if you end up in danger, then if you wanted to ignore the signs that you had, then fine. But when you have your children, your antennas need to be up and you can't fail your babies. It is imperative that you are always on high alert when you have your babies out and about like this. That's all I'm saying. Nobody should have ignored this.
Had not been there for a while. She had clothes and makeup in that suitcase. Now, coming up at 5, Ellis was already known to police before the deadly stabbing. We'll have the video of her arrest just one day before. And Laura, still so many questions, the main one being the motive. No one seems to know what it was.
It is a heartbreaking story. You just keep,
And I'm gonna prove my point. I'm gonna prove my point further when we talk about this white guilt. White guilt caused all of those people to ignore watching this woman stalk someone all the way out the store with a big ass knife in her hand. That's not normal. You're not purchasing the knife. Why are you walking around with a knife like that? That's a threat. Imagine if somebody had a gun and was walking around with it in their hand with their finger on the trigger, walking around with it and just walking around with the gun. You're not going to be on high alert. You're not going to be concerned. Let me show you something to further prove my point when I'm talking about the guilt that these white people felt. And I believe that they had every right to feel guilty But I'm just saying, you do better to pay attention to what the fuck is going on around you. These people put up a $10,000 GoFundMe, which the state is probably going to cover for this baby's burial anyways. $10,000, that's a pretty typical GoFundMe when somebody loses their life tragically. That's pretty normal. Do y'all see the amount? And this is what I've been telling y'all for the longest. If people want to donate more to your GoFundMe, they will. And that's their right to if they want to donate more than what you ask. But I feel like you should only ask for what you absolutely need. Not only did they donate the $10,000, they donated $260,000 more than what they asked for. Is that not white guilt? Did all these people's heartstrings not get plucked by this story? Did people not feel something in their heart, in their soul, where they're just like, man, we wish we could have did something? I got something that white people can do. And this is something that all of us in our society need to do. Get rid of the guilt. Get rid of the guilt. Stop feeling guilty for slavery because none of y'all own slaves. Okay? None of y'all were around when the Civil War was happening, when World War I was happening, when you know, the Europeans were over there in Africa bringing, you know, and entrapping what we know as the African people, the outcast of the Africans, and bringing them over here to America. None of y'all did that. What are y'all holding on to this guilt for? I'm going to just tell y'all something. In my personal opinion, I think that our society was less racist in the 90s. And we are 30 to 35 years past that. Think about that for a moment. We were less racial in the 90s. How are we going backwards 2024 going on 2025? We are regressing in this society. This GoFundMe, in my humble opinion, proves that these people felt guilt. These are guilt donations because this baby shouldn't have lost his life. But I'm going to tell you something. First and foremost, let's start with the judge. The judge should have never let this woman out. If you felt that she needed a psych evaluation, anybody who needs a psych evaluation needs to get evaluated before you let them back into society. Doesn't that make just common sense? Or am I tripping? Oh, I bet you some people have already unsubscribed, haven't you? Huh? They don't want to hear this. I'm sorry. Look, Tony, they don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear this. People don't come to my channel for the stories by themselves. You come to hear my opinion based on what I see people email me. My opinion about this. They come to hear my opinion about this. This starts with the judge, and the judge felt that this person needed a psych evaluation. What is a psych evaluation? Let me see if I can look that up. Psychological evaluation.
According to Verywell Mind, a psychological evaluation may consist of a series of formal or structured psychological or neuropsychological tests as well as clinical interviews designed to identify and describe emotional, behavioral, or learning problems. Psychological assessments may be written or given orally or administered via a computer.
And what they were trying to say is that they didn't have a person available. Then wait till the damn person is available. But again, these is also the same people in Ohio, Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, y'all hear me out, that are saying that they're allowing these people who hurt, murder, and abuse children to keep these kids in the house. These kids end up dead. And you know what they say? They say, well, our workload was too heavy. We couldn't go check on the kids. These are the same people who don't have funding to fund CPS properly. Same people. But then a judge could have simply have said, yes, we're going to wait and get you a psych eval because you present a danger to yourself and other people. That's what a psych evaluation is for. Now, going back into society, let's just see what happens. But ain't nobody gonna blame the judge. She get out, and the first thing she did, she woke up this morning, got herself a knife. She got herself a knife, and then went to the damn store, to a grocery store with a knife, wielding it, had it in her hand, and nobody saw nothing. Just walking around, just not shopping, no shopping cart. Y'all didn't think about that? You're in a grocery store, not buying groceries, not shopping, but walking around with a knife. That wasn't a goddamn red flag? Imagine somebody going to a restaurant, but you don't order food. That's not a red flag. You go into a grocery store and you're not shopping and you're walking around with a big ass knife. That's not a red flag. All those people ignored it, all up in the videos. And then the mom saw her, swerved her cart, so you had to have seen this individual who was quite large. And nothing said to you, I might want to look behind me and see like, oh, this person did a U-turn with a knife in their hand.
The woman accused of killing a 3-year-old boy in North Olmsted had a run-in with law enforcement clear across the country. I'm News 5 investigator Tara Morgan. We just got new records from California. Here's what they show. Months before Bianca Ellis made headlines nationwide.
We have a female in custody.
Are you bleeding? Are you hurt anywhere?
That's right there.
The suspect in the stabbing death of 3-year-old Julian Wood had a run-in with police in Bakersfield, California. In late January, Ellis was accused of punching and kicking security guards and staff at a hospital. Police records show nurses flagged down an officer after Ellis assaulted staff while refusing to leave after being discharged. The officer found Ellis on the floor of an exam room, and records show she told the officer she needed to be taken to jail for the assaults. While in a police cruiser, Ellis told police she wished to do something to stay in custody for at least 2 weeks, but wouldn't say why. In February, a bench warrant was issued when she didn't show for court. In March, Ellis was in Kissimmee, Florida, arrested on a trespassing charge. Court records reveal Ellis tried to rent a room at a hotel, but didn't have any money and refused to leave when asked. She then told police she was on vacation from Ohio and she wanted to go to jail.
All right, Bianca, you know you got warrants. Girl, I don't know. They're probably for here, yeah.
In this body camera video, Ellis was picked up by North Olmsted police just days before the deadly stabbing outside the Giant Eagle. Store surveillance video shows Ellis following Julian and his mom out of the store. Authorities say they were attacked with a knife Ellis stole from a thrift store in a random act of violence. Ellis remains in jail on a $5 million bond. I'm News 5 investigator Tara Morgan.
Bianca Ellis, the suspect in the parking lot attack, the deadly attack at Giant Eagle, is now facing a judge for the second time today after refusing to cooperate. Let's listen in.
Attempting to commit an offense of violence. It is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2901.11A1. Count 8 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to Margot Wood. Count 9 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did, knowing that an official proceeding or investigation was in progress or was about to be or likely to be instituted, alter, destroy, conceal, or remove any record, document, or thing with the purpose to impair its value or availability as evidence in such proceeding or
I want y'all to see this version. I'm gonna show you this version.
Hello, Ms. Ellis. Do you have an attorney? You do? Do you have the money or means to hire an attorney? Have you received your indictment? Okay. Have you read it? You have not read it. Okay. We have a copy here. You can read it. You don't want to read it. Are you willing to accept that the public defender has read it to you? I'm sorry. You asked her not to. Well, but she did read it to you, correct? She didn't read it to you. Okay, well, we can read it in open court. Okay. It's a 10-count indictment. Count 1 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did purposely and with prior calculation and design cause the death of J.W. 10/29/2020. The state of Ohio reserves the right to seek a superseding indictment containing the appropriate 2929.04a aggravating circumstances specifications. And so you understand that means the state is reserving its right to add a death penalty specification. Count 2 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, that the defendant did purposely cause the death of J.W. 10/29/2020. Count 3 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did cause the death of J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2903.11A1, and or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to J.W. on date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 5 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did torture or cruelly abuse J.W., date of birth 10/29 code
see this, right?
degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 29.
Y'all see this, right?
903.11A1, and or endangering children in.
So they felt like she didn't need a psych evaluation, but now everybody want to have some sympathy for her, as opposed to just putting all of your thoughts and prayers to this child that lost its life for absolutely no reason, and a mother and father that have to live with this and suffer through this for no reason.
Violation of Ohio Revised Code Section 2919.22B2. Count 4 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to J.W. on date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 5 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did torture or cruelly abuse J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020, a child under 18 years of age, and furthermore, the violation resulted in serious physical harm to J.W., date of birth 10/29/2020. Count 6 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did attempt to purposely cause the death of Margot Wood. Count 7 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did attempt to cause the death of Margot Wood as a proximate result of the offender committing or attempting to commit an offense of violence that is a felony of the first or second degree, to wit, felonious assault, Ohio Revised Code Section 2901.11A1. Count 8 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did knowingly cause serious physical harm to Margot Wood. Count 9 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did, knowing that an official proceeding or investigation was in progress or was about to be or likely to be instituted, alter, destroy, conceal, or remove any record, document, or thing with the purpose to impair its value or availability as evidence in such proceeding or investigation. Count 10 alleges that on or about June 3rd, 2024, the defendant did with purpose to deprive the owner, Volunteers of America store, of property or services, to wit, knives, knowingly obtain or exert control over either the property or services without the consent of the owner or the person authorized to give consent. I have now read the indictment to you. Do you wish to enter a plea of not guilty?
Sí.
Pardon me?
Sí.
What's same mean? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I understand the victims are represented and they want to make a comment before I set bond. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Could you start with your name?
My name is Jared Wood, father of deceased, husband of Margot. Your Honor, that day, 1 week ago, she took everything from us. There's nothing that could ever replace my son, or anything that my wife and I, or even our other kids, are going through.
Just so y'all know, this is the biological father of that little boy.
It's horrendous. And I really wish no bail, period. Or extend it to the max limit possible that you can, at the very least. Just do whatever you can to keep this monster behind bars.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything else you would like to say?
That'll be it. Thank
Okay.
you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is there anything else before I pronounce bond?
Your Honor, we would just ask that you consider assigning the Public Defender's Office, recognizing this is not our number. We did represent her at the first appearance unit. I did meet with her on Friday. We have had contact with her family and begun working on the case. Thank you, Your Honor.
When the original bond was set out of Muni Court, the bond was set at $1 million, and it was before the passing of one of the alleged victims. I do not believe that bond is appropriate given the change in circumstances and the allegations that are contained in this indictment. Bond is set at $5 million, cash, surety, or property. GPS, no contact with any surviving victim or victim's family, DNA order. Judge is John Russo. Pretrial is June 17th at 9 a.m. I'll assign counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So I think they said that they have pre-trial, which is June 17th. So depending on when you're watching this, that's tomorrow. I think I don't really know what's going to come of this trial. I think it's going to be swift and quick. I mean, you have indisputable evidence. And I'm going to tell you, again, to the judges out there, to the bureaucrats, to the people, everybody needs to be advocating for children in Ohio. Has a horrible history of failing to get justice for children, to protect them. And I would just think that if in this case, they're not going to get their baby boy back, this family ain't going to get this baby boy back. So the least that they can do is get the appropriate punishment. The sentence should be nothing less than a natural life sentence. The rest of her life, she should get no bond, no chance at parole. That face right there should never be allowed to be in society again. She's a danger to herself. She's a danger to everybody. She should never get out. And people like this cannot be rehabilitated. So mark my words on that. And I'm asking you guys to get rid of your guilt. Get rid of it and start recognizing things for what they are and start paying attention. If you see something, say something, and protect your babies, okay? R.I.P. to that beautiful little boy, and our thoughts and prayers go out with the family. And again, we're going to stand on justice for all children, okay? Thank you for listening to the story. So the lady that you guys see on my screen, let me back that picture up here because I want you guys to see this picture. This lady was allegedly a Georgia pageant winner. I don't know what pageant she won. You know, I don't know if it was like a national hot dog contest or something like that. I don't know. But look, this lady had did something very, very bad to a child, okay? So let's get past that. Beautiful little baby. Let's talk about this story. Let's get into the details. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. Y'all ain't nothing in the chat, man. What is wrong with y'all? Somebody said that she won a cupcake pageant. Whatever it was, I'm just saying she's just a bad person, okay? I'm getting this story from people.com because they did a really good job with this article. An indictment against a former Georgia pageant winner accused of murdering an 18-month-old baby, not a 18-month-old baby, her 18-month-old child, okay? Reveals disturbing allegations about what authorities believed happened. So Trinity Pogue, P-O-A-G-U-E, 18 years old, was arrested on several charges, including murder and battery in January in connection with the killing of that little baby that you just saw by the name. Let me see if I get the face back up there. That little baby on the right-hand side of the screen, Jackson Drew. The child whose legal name is Romeo, Angelus, was identified as Jackson Drew Williams by his father at the hospital, WLBT reported at the time. The child is referred to as Jackson Drew, D-R-U, or Jackson Drew, D-R-E-W, or Jackson Williams across different reports. Why so many different names is a little bit odd, but they also had a GoFundMe that was set up in his honor. So I'll show you guys that GoFundMe here in just a second. Let me give you some more details. The Georgia Southwestern State University Police Department requested the assistance of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, to investigate Jackson's death after the boy was rushed to a hospital in Americus, Georgia. The Bureau said in a statement at the time, Jackson later died at the hospital. Pogue, the woman on the right-hand side of the screen, had been a student at the school. In an indictment released last summer, Sumner County authorities allege that Pogue's alleged abuse caused serious disfigurement to his liver, rendered his brain useless, and left the boy with massive trauma to his head and torso. Pogue was indicted on 1 count of malice murder, 2 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of aggravated battery, and 1 count of cruelty to children, according to documents published by WDHN and WALB. Now, according to witnesses, Pogue was in a romantic relationship with Jackson's father at the time of the killing. So maybe this actually isn't her child. Man. So this was dad's girl. Man, damn. So let me make a correction. This is dad's child. Dad's girlfriend murdered this kid. So I make that small correction. The same way that I get onto these thugs, these men, who these women date, and when you date thugs, you date death. and these women date men that only want to have relations with this woman and have sex with these women, and these women have children, and these men look at those children and they say, well, these children are a product of the man that she was with before. So they look into these children's eyes and all they can see is the man that this woman just got done sleeping with, and they end up resenting those kids. In the same situation, this girl, this grown woman at 18 years old, looked at this baby and probably saw the mother's face and resented this child and caused the death of this baby by beating this baby to death. Just can't be that damn stupid. So she was in a romantic relationship. So this is Dad's girlfriend. On the day of Jackson's death, students at Pogue College dorm heard a child crying for a long time until everyone said that suddenly it just stopped. Lily Waterman, a student at the school, told WRDW. And no one knew what happened. In a situation like that, if you hear that, it might have been a smart idea to get on the phone and call somebody and say something. Pogue was released on a $75,000 bond, and I'm just curious to know, it's her right to bail out. I'm just wondering who bailed her out. Her parents bailed her out for what? But that's her legal right, so I can't speak against her legal right. But nonetheless, she got out on a bond. She was stripped of her Miss Donaldsonville title, the Early County News reported in March. She was allowed to leave the Americas area after her release. She was ordered to wear an ankle monitor throughout her time outside jail, per the outlet. It wasn't immediately clear if she had entered a plea or retained an attorney to speak on her behalf. So if you suspect child abuse, call the National Child Abuse Hotline, man. If you see something, say something. Like, this young woman should have never been around this child. And to the dad, brother, I'm sorry that this happened to your baby. Don't matter how much you like this chick, don't be bringing your kids. Like, I don't think that if you have small children, don't bring them around somebody you're dating. In general, that should just be an in general rule for everybody to follow. If you got small kids, don't bring your kids around your significant other, somebody you're dating, somebody you're seeing, somebody you're just having sex with. Don't do it. This GoFundMe, let me show you guys this GoFundMe that they have up right now. Because I know people feel pretty bad. But nonetheless, they asked for a $10,000 GoFundMe. They've raised $12,000, so they went beyond the goal of what was asked. Obviously, because everybody feels sad. And it is a sad story. But nonetheless, I don't think she should have been granted a bail at all. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. There's a lot of things you can grant somebody a low bail for, but allegedly beating and murdering a little baby, I don't think should be one of them. Let me give you guys... If you guys would do me a favor and please hit that thumbs up and share this story so you guys can let you take a look at these news videos. So if y'all would share in the memory of this baby, okay? Here we go.
A Georgia beauty queen who seemed to be living her best life is now behind bars, accused of the murder of an 18-month-old child. On Friday, 18-year-old Trinity Pogue was arrested on multiple charges, including felony murder in connection to the death of that baby boy. Now, Pogue is currently being held without any bond, and multiple sources are reporting that Pogue was dating the child's father. In October, the 18-year-old was named Miss Donaldsonville and later competed in the National Peanut Festival pageant. She's a student at Georgia Southwestern State University. So will this beauty queen festival pageant. October, the 18-year-old was named Miss Donaldsonville and later competed in the National Peanut Festival pageant. October, the 18-year-old was named Miss Donaldsonville and later competed in the National Peanut Festival pageant.
The Peanut Pageant, Peanut Festival Pageant. Talk about the peanut gallery. Like, you just can't make that type of stuff up. The peanut gallery, the peanut festival. What the freak, man?
She's a student at Georgia Southwestern State University. So will this beauty queen stay behind bars? Let's bring in our power panel and get their thoughts. I'm so pleased to have with me forensic death investigator, professor at Jacksonville State University, and the host of the...
Y'all said it for me. She's got peanuts for brains.
There is new information tonight in the death of a little boy and the pageant queen charged with his murder. Authorities say Miss Donaldsonville killed that toddler in a dorm room at the college she attends. News 4's Bayla Walker live in the newsroom to explain these developments in this case that is receiving worldwide attention. Bayla, what's the latest?
Yeah, Kinsley, a Georgia coroner says the 18-month-old toddler suffered blunt force trauma to his head. Pageant queen Trinity Pogue is charged with murder. She's a freshman at Georgia Southwestern University in Americus, Georgia. Now, the county coroner says that's where the boy suffered his injuries. Just 3 months after competing in Dothan's Miss National Peanut Festival pageant, Pogue is now in jail in Sumter County, Georgia. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation charged Pogue with aggravated assaults and cruelty to children. And Kinsley, as for the boy who died, there's some confusion about his name. Coroner Mathis Wright tells us his birth certificate lists him as Romeo Angles, but the boy's dad, whom investigators did not charge, named him Jackson Drew. Newsweek, major networks, and European publications posted this story after News 4 broke it first on Saturday. Kinsley?
A heartbreaking case. Bayla Walker, thank you for that update. Trinity Pogue, who is 18, has no bond and is still in jail.
Tonight, a Georgia pageant queen facing...
Hold on, because I literally just read that she had a $75,000 bond, unless that's wrong. So no bond is good. So unless I'm reading this wrong, I'm getting this from people.com, and it's saying as of June the 10th, which was 6 days ago, so maybe this is slightly outdated. But it's saying that she was released on a $75,000 bond in February. So if she has no bond now, then good. She don't need no bond.
Several charges in the death of an 18-month-old. Authorities arrested 18-year-old Trinity Pogue Friday after an investigation into the child's death. According to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the child was admitted to an emergency room in Americus. That's about 2 hours south of Atlanta. The GBI says hospital staff tried to save the baby, but he later died. Pogue is being charged with felony murder, aggravated battery, and cruelty to children, and is currently being held at the Sumter County Jail with no bail. She was crowned as Miss Donaldsonville last year and later competed in the National Peanut Festival pageant.
Florida Governor.
A reigning pageant queen who competed in last year's Miss National Peanut Festival pageant is accused of killing an 18-month-old boy, remains behind bars. And if she is convicted of the crime, she could face life in prison. Just a few months ago, 18-year-old Trinity Pogue was the reigning Miss Donaldsonville pageant queen, competing against 35 young ladies from across the Wiregrass in the Miss National Peanut Festival pageant. Now, she's charged with murder. On Friday, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation arrested the Georgia Southwestern State student and charged her with the murder of an 18-month-old boy that is not believed to be her child. Officials say last week the child was rushed to Phoebe Sumter Hospital in Americus, Georgia, where the hospital staff tried to perform life-saving measures, but the boy later died. After multiple interviews and an examination of the evidence, GBI agents arrested Pogue 5 days after the alleged incident. She is charged with felony murder, aggravated battery, and cruelty to children in the first degree. Pogue is being held in the Sumter County Jail with no bond set in her case and could be facing life in prison if she is convicted on those charges. GBI investigators say once the investigation is complete in this case, the file will be given to the Southwestern Judicial Circuit District Attorney's Office for prosecution. According to court records, it does not appear that a motion for a bond hearing in her case has been filed, but one will more than likely be filed in the near future, where a judge will decide whether or not Pogue can be released from jail while she waits on her court proceedings.
clearly there was something horrific happening here.
From small-town beauty queen to accused murderer, this Georgia teen is now out on bond after allegedly killing her boyfriend's toddler.
How awful certain human beings can be to other human beings, especially while very vulnerable young babies like this. It's hard to wrap your brain around.
Now we're learning more about the gruesome way the young boy died. We first told you about this story last month when 18-year-old Trinity Madison Pogue was arrested. She now faces multiple charges, including felony murder, aggravated battery, and first-degree cruelty to children. Before posing for this mugshot, she posed for a beauty pageant shot like this one when she was crowned Miss Donaldsonville 2023. She also competed in the Miss National Peanut Festival last year. But now, investigators say this small-town Georgia beauty queen knowingly killed her boyfriend's 18-month-old son. The boy's legal name is Romeo Angeles, but his family refers to him as Jackson Drew. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation began looking into the case on January 14th, when the toddler was pronounced dead after being rushed to the hospital. A medical examiner later determined the toddler's cause of death was blunt force trauma, and Pogue was subsequently charged with his murder. Georgia criminal defense attorney Meg Strickler has been following the case since it broke. Even weeks later, the details continue to shock her.
When you read the blunt force trauma, when you read those words, blunt force trauma, I can't elicit anything friendly in my brain. I think of horrible things happening to this little tiny baby. 18-month-old is still tiny in the sense of being able to defend themselves. So, and as you saw, she's charged with aggravated battery. So clearly there was something horrific happening here. And we may never ever know all of the details, but the medical records, when they do the autopsy.
I guess I'm not understanding. What I'm not understanding is, with this being dad's baby and there being a biological mother out there, from what I understand, why would you have left that baby alone with your girlfriend? There was no reason for that.
Will show some things and they can guess what occurred, and we don't know those things yet. But what you just see right now is those terms, blunt force trauma, and I all I do is think of really horrible things.
So that is the big term that we're hearing a lot, is the blunt force trauma, because we don't know, as you said, all of the details. But what could blunt force trauma be?
Well, I was thinking about, it could be, and again, I'm just telling you from prior cases I've done. I'm not saying this is okay, but there are times when you can shake this kid so much that you're so angry with an 18-month-old that it shakes their innards. So it can cause some damage, internal damage from doing that. And there's a lot of science involved with that. There's also where the baby could have been pushed down the stairs, something like this. I keep saying baby, I should say toddler, but whatever. Could have been pushed somewhere, could have been pushed and fallen down, could have been pulled and then pulled and shook over this way. I mean, there's so many.
The students at the dorm said they heard this child screaming and screaming and screaming, and then all of a sudden, then they heard absolutely nothing. The way that they described it is like it was an abrupt stopping of the child crying. That's a red flag. Get on the phone and call somebody like that. I don't know. I just don't know how you missed that.
Scenarios that occur where you might be fighting with the 18-month-old to get something out of his hand, and then you're being an abusive.
The students at the dorm said they heard it.
Person, and then you yank the entire child across the room. I mean, you would be surprised. It makes me upset to even think about it, how awful certain human beings can be to other human beings, especially while very vulnerable young babies like this.
And I 100% agree. And that's why I think that when you're young, you shouldn't have children. You shouldn't be just have this responsibility just laid in your lap. I don't understand that at all. Like how the boyfriend will explain that. Like, how do you explain that to your child's mom? brother, I'm sorry, but it's just, I can't justify this. And I'm speaking from a father's perspective, and I'm speaking from a perspective of when I had my daughter at 24 years of age, I didn't just leave my daughter around no woman. Like, I dated, I saw women, but I did that when I didn't have my daughter. When I had my daughter, it was me and my daughter, and that was it. So it's not like I haven't been in this situation to understand what you should and shouldn't do. And I don't think that when you have small children, your focus should not be on dating. Your focus should be on raising that child, because these children are going to need your undivided attention. They're going to need all your resources, let alone you trying to split your time and split your attention to be dating some peanut festival champion, whatever the hell she is, pageant winner, whatever you want to call her, peanut head, peanut brain. This woman shouldn't have been around children at all, period. So I hope that they throw the book at her, because I want y'all to look at that little baby. As much as you might think that this woman has a future, I don't think that she should ever be allowed to get out of prison. When you look at this baby who was small and innocent and could not speak for himself and could not defend itself against the tyranny of dad's girlfriend. And that, to me, cannot be forgiven. This person needs a permanent life sentence and never needs to be around children ever again. That's not something you get a do-over. You can't do that over. You can't make that up. You can't make up for doing that. You can't rehabilitate being this damn dumb. Okay? R.I.P. to that beautiful little baby who had all the promise in the world. And I hope that we get true justice in this story, okay? And I hope that you guys push for justice in that area, in Donaldsonville, in Georgia, at the Peanut Gallery, at the Peanut Festival. And I hope y'all throw peanuts at her, okay? Not physically. Nonetheless, thank you guys so much for listening to Baby Jackson's story. Thank you.